Good morning, you bunch of beautiful chickens. Man, I almost slept through formation this morning. Ooh, that was bad. I was going like 85 miles an hour down the freaking interstate. The speed limit's like 65, so that was probably bad. But what do? What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we freaking talk fast and slap that ask, baby. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. So today, my friends, my fellow Gorilla Gang, I want to go over the dark pool trading, and I kind of want to talk about technical analysis and what's actually happening here with the AMC stock, because I've seen this talked about a lot, and I kind of want to give you some reassurance in terms of what's actually happening here and what the actual purpose of technical analysis is. So with that being said, I kind of want to talk about, to start off here with this dark pool trading. There's a lot of talk going around about dark pool trading. How does this actually affect AMC stock price? What is the actual purpose of dark pool trading? Off exchange trading, right? Dark pool trading, first and foremost, sounds like something you write up in a freaking a Batman lair. I mean, it's just, the name itself is not ideal. But dark pool trading was designed for institutional investors. If you're not familiar with what dark pool trading is, this is not even something that the actual retail investor or the general public investor have access to. So I pulled up a little bit of a definition here. I think this is something interesting. To understand dark pool trading, we need to know what it is. Dark pools are privately organized and managed financial exchanges for trading securities. Probably the most important piece of this is right here. In other words, dark pools allow big institutional investors to sell and purchase large amounts of securities with complete secrecy and no disclosure until their trades have been executed. This is also known as block trading. So what does this mean? What's the importance of dark pools? Why would this be used by institutional investors and the like, right? Well, there's two big things that I think are important about dark pool trading, and it's literally what it was designed for, and it's secrecy and block trades. Now, why would you want to execute block trades off the actual normal exchange like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, in the first place, right? What's the whole purpose of that, right? Well, secrecy, first and foremost, is something that we are not a fan of as retail investors and as apes, because it's not transparent, right? You don't know what's happening. There's no 13Fs that immediately come out. You don't see it reflected in the price action, which brings me to the block trades, the big transactions, right? This is a space in which big institutional investors can trade blocks of stock. For instance, AMC stock, maybe 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,000 shares, buy and sell in one transaction without moving the stock price. Think about that. Think about how ridiculous that is. That's fucking absurd. This sort of stuff happens. It's what the dark pools are made for. Look at this, right? Dark pools allow big institutional investors to sell and purchase large amounts of securities with complete secrecy and no disclosure until their trades have been executed. This is also known as block trading. It's in the freaking description, right? So I've seen some talk floating around. Is there this $1,500 price that's actually happening in these dark pools? There's no way to actually confirm that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there is, right? But is AMC stock's price actually legitimate? Well, think about this in your head, right? If there's dark pool trading, off-exchange trading, and the whole purpose of it is secrecy and to be able to fill large transactions without having to, essentially move the stock price, because if you were to go on a dark pool, you can sell and buy 25,000 shares without having to worry about much. You go on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, you make a 25,000 share order, a 50,000, 100,000, whatever it may be, you're going to move the stock price a lot. You're gonna absolutely shift. I mean, that's like a 3, 4, 5 freaking dollar bar of price action. That's a lot of movement, right? So the entire purpose of that, in my opinion, what that validates is that this sort of trading that you're seeing on AMC stock is a little bit deflated. I really do think that the actual share price on AMC is higher. And I think eventually, with all these huge filings coming out, all of the new things that are being talked about on the mainstream media, financial media, whatever it may be, right? You're starting to see some change. And this is one of the systemic problems that I see that AMC stock has kind of brought in light to, is dark pool trading and off-exchange trading. Is this a bad thing for AMC stock? Right? Is this not going to squeeze? In my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to affect the squeeze, but it 100% is delaying things, and it is affecting it in the short term, right? Eventually, you're going to run into a problem where these big institutional investors, the suits, the wigs, whatever you want to call them, right? They are going to not have any capital to play with. They're going to get margin called. They're going to get pissed on, and the apes are going to pull off the win, in my personal opinion, just based on how bullish this is and the nice moves that we're making. But I think that's an important thing to know. I really do. If you're not familiar with what dark pool trading is, take a couple minutes and just dig into dark pool trading. It's really freaking kind of scary stuff. I mean, like I said, the name itself, dark pool trading, goddamn heart rate monitor, it just tells the whole story. So that's something I want to start off this video with. And then I wanted to, kind of talk a little bit about technical analysis and what the true purpose of this is, right? So if you're an ape, you've been holding this stock, buying this stock for the last 6 months, 1 month, 3 months, last week, whatever it may be, right? You know ultimately what the end game is here for you, right? The average person, from my understanding, right? All they're looking to do is buy and hold the stock because they like the stock. So where does technical analysis come into play if all you're simply doing is buying and holding? It gives you the best opportunity to dollar cost average into your position. Don't get this twisted, right? When this all said and done, when the time comes, AMC stock is going to make its move, right? And you're not really going to care too much about what your dollar cost average is, but you do want to make the most bang for your buck. And that's where technical analysis comes into play. So I don't, offer these predictions, and I don't offer, where I think it can go for the upside and for the downside. I don't offer these scenarios in some sort of way to put a date on anything. That's entirely not the message. It's for two things, right? Mental preparation, because this is psychological warfare, right? When you get into this sort of stock and you're holding it day in and day in and day in and day in and day in, the only ammunition that these big hedge funds and institutions have is retail emotion. So if you can control your emotion, you're already halfway there, man. Absolutely. The second thing is getting the best bang for your buck and getting the cheapest stock that you possibly can. For instance, we may end up breaking beneath this ascending level of support, which means that we could test out a Fibonacci retracement zone, which could bring us down to that freaking $51 range. And if it happens, guess what? You were prepared for that. You can buy the dip. If you have extra liquidity or capital laying around, you can take advantage of that technical analysis breakdown to the $51 range, knowing that there's a good chance that $51 is probably about as low as it's going to bounce, plus or minus $1.50, right? So that's where technical analysis comes into play. If you're an ape, you're holding this for a squeeze. Ultimately, you don't care what the day-to-day price action is. The price is psychological. So the intraday technical analysis, maybe not super important, but it is important to get the grand scheme picture so that you have an idea of where trend is going, you have an idea of whether you're getting close or not to the next major move, and you have an idea of where you can buy the best discounted price on AMC stock if that's something that you're interested in. So that's kind of what I want to talk about this morning for AMC stock, is this dark pool trading, because I've seen this term getting tossed around a lot. I've actually talked about it on the national news over at I think it would have been Fox Business and CNBC, one of the two. It was one of those two. I can't remember off the top of my head, but nonetheless, this sort of stuff is definitely happening. And you're watching change happen before your very eyes. Gary Gensler from the SEC really trying to improve transparency. Guys, this is an absolute win. How far the apes have come in the last 6 months is absolutely monumental. You're seeing legitimate changes. You're seeing the SEC slowly but surely, very slowly but surely, start to step into the equation and try to make systemic changes, because that's the issue with what's happening here in the stock market. Is systemic problems built for the institutional investor to essentially steal from the retail investor. So you guys should be proud. There's a lot of beautiful things that are starting to come to fruition, not just with AMC stock, but in the stock market as a whole. That's what I've kind of got for this video. So you guys hodl down the fort, baby. I'm going to go into work today and freaking just lay some scunion, some scunion onion, baby. I'll catch y'all later. So blah, blah, blah. No host, drop, like, and subscribe. What do you want to do, my friends? Catch you on the next one. Light taps, baby. Much love and peace.